bloody appreciate.
Get the party poppers out. It's deadline day. It's everybody's favourite day of the year. Welcome back to West Ham Official. Hope you are all well. Yes, it's deadline day and we're here for the next however long to talk you through all of the transfers that probably are going to be happening at West Ham. All of the big moves happening in the last few hours in Europe and the Premier League. We're here to keep you up to date. And that's the centre right here on West Ham Unofficial, and joined by a very good panel of guests tonight. Firstly, just about awake after coming back from Derby last night. Mike, how are you?
Very tired. If I drop off to sleep, don't worry. If you hear me start snoring, mate, don't worry.
Well,
just shout at me, and I might wake up again. No, yeah, it was worth it, mate. It was all worth it. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I've got a little bit more energy than you, Mike. So
well done, mate. Yeah.
And Sean's joining us as well to give the view on everything else and anything. He's got his pen, he's got his pad ready. He's taking this very seriously. Sean, how are you?
Yeah, really good. Yeah, can't complain. It's like Christmas Eve for like football fans, isn't it? Usually this one.
Yeah.
So,
but tonight it just feels a little bit like not much is going to happen. Obviously, we'll talk about a couple of the deals that may be going through, and a couple of them, of course, involve Chelsea, no doubt. But it just feels like there isn't a lot happening.
It feels a little bit like Christmas when you're an adult, a bit of an anticlimax. I can't remember whether last January was the same as this, really. But yeah, it's going to be the teams that have thrown a bit of money about will probably be doing it right to the end. Probably see a few late ones, but probably not too exciting.
Yeah, let's see. We've got in the chat and see and put your thoughts into the chat. Of course, we've turned yellow because it's deadline day. I didn't manage to find a yellow tie, but you know we're here and we've all sort of gone for the same attire tonight. But yeah, Lawrence, hope you well. May would have liked to seen one or two players coming in on loan. We'll have a look at the major deals coming through from the transfer centre in just a second. Would have loved the new additions today to keep the momentum going. Morale within the squad seems to be improving, says Nick. Yeah, it would have just boosted things up a little bit if we would have signed someone today. Sean's violently writing something down on his notepad. He's seen something. Have you got a second screen like with the transfer centre up going, Sean? You've got Sky on?
Just trying to work out who's going to go down at the moment. So,
of course you are. Jack, hope you are well, mate. James, Miss Hummerat, Luke, hope you are all well. Keep your comments coming in to the chat. Good support of Derby last night, Mike. That away end was buzzing.
Oh, mate, yeah, that was unbelievable. That was a full repertoire of the songs and everything, and 5,000 fans there, and there's, they only had 25 there. A little bit disappointed that they didn't fill the ground, really, because Derby have got a good support at that level. Well, an outstanding support at that level, to be totally honest. Yeah. Nice little ground, though. It is a nice little ground.
Yeah.
I hadn't been there. That's the first time I've been there. I did go to the old baseball ground many years ago. But, it was a good day out. Yeah, and it was good crack.
Very good. Now we sort of mentioned this last night. Me and Gary were looking at it on the build-up show. There was news of good old 33-year-old Andre Ayew returning to West Ham, according to Toby Kelworth. I haven't seen any more of that today, to be honest. I haven't really catched up too much on what's been going on, but I've had a quick look and it doesn't seem like anything's going to be happening there. And a couple of other people have mentioned one name that was out there and it's just sort of persistently stayed there throughout the window, Mike, is that striker Terem Moffi. Terem Moffi has now completed a move to Nice this afternoon. West Ham's bid of 20 plus 5 million add-ons for him earlier in the month was obviously now rejected, but talks soon died down after Danny Ings' arrival to the club. So we've lost to Terem Moffi there. But I
don't think that's such a bad thing, Jake, to be honest.
No.
I mean, if you watch Mwamba, he only got 15 minutes last night, but I've seen enough of that kid to know he's got something about him. His first touch was phenomenal. I mean, the ball come into him and his lovely little touch off. His attitude is first class. He came over, clapped the fans afterwards. He's a big, strong boy. He's a typical sort of could be a replacement for Antonio. He's obviously banging goals in galore, and in the youth team, and I've seen enough of that kid that I think he's got something about him. I really do.
Yeah.
So I don't think we need to get too carried away about another striker. Not there that we got Schumacher, Ings, and Antonio.
Yeah, we'll come on to Spurs in just a second, Sean. But from your perspective, West Ham's activity, obviously, I will run you through. We haven't talked about Ashby in a minute, but we will. Obviously, we knew that we'd signed Brazilian youngster Luis Leal for £1 million. Danny Ings came in for 15 million quid, and Harrison Ashby has moved on today to Newcastle for £3 million. That's just the sort of summary of the main deals that have gone on this month. Sean, has it shocked you that we haven't done anything today?
Not really. I was just writing things down here. I noticed you had a little bit of a moan about you wanted probably centre back or left back. Was it you wanted? Yeah.
Yeah.
No, but
I know through the season West Ham he's been chopping and changing the formation a bit, hasn't he?
Yeah.
Like 1 minute it's back three, then it's back four. I think the last game when you won, he back three again, was it?
Yeah.
When I look, I could be wrong. I've got a list of defenders. I might have forgotten someone. I've got Kera, Zuma, Ogbonna, Cresswell, Johnson, and Agurd. Have I missed anyone out?
Soufal. Yeah, Soufal.
Yes, Soufal. Okay. Soufal might be an odd one out. But the first six I mentioned, I could be wrong here, but I think all six of those have played or can play in a back three.
Yeah.
So look at it. I've got Johnson as a right back. He's not a small lad. I don't know if he's played right centre back for you before.
Yeah.
You've got Chris. I know for a fact he can play left centre back of a three. Yeah. You've got Bonner, you've got Zuma, you've got Kera, who's no one really knows whether he's a right back or a centre half yet. We can definitely do that job. So when I look at the list, that's not including Soufal, who probably can push on and cover the right wing back role. Mm-hmm. And obviously, you've got lots of midfielders you can drop. You've got Emerson who's on the left wing back. Looking at the fact that he's happy with your defence at the moment tells me you'll probably continue with a back three going through the end of the season. And Definitely. When you look at that, we all like a trendy new defender. Tottenham fans are probably crying out for more than what West Ham fans are. But when you look at that, is a back three. Look, I don't know. You tell me your strongest back three. Would it be Agurd, Bonner, Zuma? I don't know. It could be them three. Look, and then if one drops out,
it is. But Zuma's injured for a month. That's the worry.
But but then you've still got six defenders probably covering three spots. Now, one or two of them might be a little bit makeshift.
Yeah.
But you could, if he starts playing a back four again, then I'd be probably more concerned because then you've got then you're moving players around again. But the fact that he's got a bit of cover there, I can sort of see it for back three. They say you have to have six covering three spots potentially that have done the job before. I wouldn't be that concerned about not getting in a proper defender, to be honest.
I think it's just a concern if Mike, if we do return to a back four, we're just completely done. Because if another centre back gets injured, we're finished. If we do play that sort of back three, and we do have to put sort of a makeshift defender in alongside two of them, if that's the case, it's not the worst thing in the world. But I think it just gives us an extra bit of assurance. And do you think it's a risk that Moyes is taking that's not entirely necessary?
I don't know. I would have liked another left back. Because Emerson, Sean just said it, he's a left wing back, and he played really well last night. His first touch on the ball is good, and it's bound to be. And he's an international player. He's played for He's only ever played for top teams. You can see the guy's got quality. He just needs a bit of a run and a bit of confidence, I think. Yeah. But if you're looking at a back four, Cresswell worries me as a left back in a back four. But he's still a decent player as a left-sided in a back three. He can still do a decent job there. So, what Sean's saying is right, really. There's enough cover there at the moment.
So the sort of conundrum we've got is we never know what Moyes is going to do. So now, as Sean sort of put that out, and I think he's bang on with it, is that it looks like Moyes is now setting out to play a back three. If at some point we do return to a back four, that's when problems happen, because right back I don't think is an issue. We should manage to get two centre backs together, even if we've got to put Kera there if a couple of others get injured, which I'm not a fan of at all, but it is what it is. And then left back, obviously you've mentioned there, Cresswell, he just can't do it anymore. And I don't like Emerson at left back either. I think he's not a left back. He is fully a left wing back. Defensive wise, I don't think he's entirely there. So I think he's suited, and he's played really, really well in the last few games as a left wing back. So you'd think now we're nailed on to play that back three. Because
we've been lucky, really, because Ogbonna's come back, and we're all worried about Ogbonna because he, you know what I mean, his age and everything. You know, we know he's been a quality defender over the years, but I mean, the last couple of games he's been very good.
Yeah,
he's been solid as a rock. You know, no one beats him in the air. He's quick enough for an older guy as well. He's not got a lack of pace, and he's got enough upstairs to not let himself get tested up against someone for a bit of pace. You know, so yeah, I mean, the back four is beginning to look a lot more solider. So so I can understand why they're not really doing anything, because I suppose Johnson could always go over and play left back if he had to, you know.
Yeah, if he had to, yeah.
In a back four.
Yeah. Let's fire through some of these comments and see what we've got in the chat. Tony, hope you are well, mate. Lonith Bowden says, I can understand not signing anyone with Zuma and Skamaka coming back. Let's just hope that they do come back. 100%. If Zuma's fit, I don't question it at all. But it's just a worry as well that Ogbonna and Agard have been playing really, really well, but they're both injury prone in recent times. So it does worry me in the back of my head slightly. Let's see who else we've got in. Luke for the free hours. Hope you're well, mate. I think Fellaini is coming in. Could you imagine that? Fellaini. Poor body been dry. Luke, hope you're well, mate. Let's have a look here. Moy sabotage new striker coming in because he wanted to keep Antonio. He loves Antonio. And to be fair, Antonio did play quite well last night, and he got a goal, which I thought he deserved. And who knows what's going to go on there. I did see that Southampton signed Paul Onuachu, who we were linked with last year. So it'll be interesting to see. He is a proper, number 9 vocal point up there. So
is that the big guy? The big guy who played against us?
Against Genk, yeah, against us.
He is a monster, that guy. He is.
We were right on the top, Mike, and we could still see he was a big old lad.
He is huge.
Yeah, definitely. Emerson looks solid, and it's key in that left wing back position. He's got to be played there. Luke says, I would have liked a pacey right wing back that can cross. I think that's the key, that can cross, because Kara definitely can't do that. I know
Sean wants one of them.
Got one, I think.
They have
going to
got
come
one
on to that in just a second, because I want to talk about Jed Spence as well, because somebody's mentioned in the chat. Here we go. Luke, Spence was a no-brainer for us. He went to Rennes, for God's sake. Sean, there's many elements of this here. We were linked with him. I was sort of, I would have been happy with the signing. Do you think there's a sort of transfer embargo there between Spurs and West Ham?
I think there's a transfer embargo between Tottenham and not loaning to Premier League clubs. Yeah. It's not something we seem keen to do at all. I told you earlier in the week that the Tottenham main reporter who's inside the club linked West Ham has shown interest. I think about 5 clubs today have been linked to loan Oliver Skipp, even though Conte doesn't want to let him go at all. Yeah. Jed Spence would have been a good one. But the story goes, because I don't know if you've seen, Mac Doherty went to Atletico Madrid today. For that one. But yesterday, Jed Spence turned them down, Atletico Madrid, because he wanted to go where he guaranteed more football. Yeah. So his attitude's been with one of those players, when they don't play, they get their attitude sort of gets brought into it. But his attitude seems spot on. He only wanted a loan because he's openly said he still sees himself as success at Tottenham. But yeah, the loan was there. I don't know. Like, Doherty's gone to Atletico. Spencer's gone to Rennes.
All you need now is to get rid of Sessignon and you're sorted.
Yeah, well, yeah, you're not wrong there. I'm not a fan of Sessignon, as you know, but yeah, Jed Spence, he hasn't had a chance. I think the day he walked in the door, Conte openly said it was a club signing. I think that says all you need to know about that. Yeah. I think
he wasn't going to play him, was he? Full stop.
He just is. I don't know why. I haven't got your answer there. With Conte, you've got, no matter where you play, you've got to know your role and you've got to be disciplined. If you don't, you're not going to get any minutes. So maybe he just didn't have enough time to work with him. But yeah, he's gone to Rennes. I think they're 5th in the French league. He's gone there with Joe Rode on mine, another player we got on loan. He'd be good. He'd be good for West Ham in the middle of a free as well. He's good there for Wales. But yeah, I think I've read we got 11 players out on loan now, and I think I'll say this quietly. I think it's approaching about £200 million for a player out on loan.
Wow.
And probably about £1 million, about 500 about £1 million a week in wages, probably. I don't know.
A lot of money there.
A lot of money out on loan, I can tell you that.
Yeah, that's interesting. Obviously, you want to talk about Pedro Porro, who nobody ever heard of until last week. So we'll talk about him in just a second. But first, let's take some of these comments. Bonner is fine. It is our fullbacks that is the problem. Trini says Oggy has always been solid and calming. He may have lost some pace, but his positioning and knowledge is priceless. I 100% agree. WHU Charlie says, reckon we beat United away and go all the way? No, I think we'll go up there, we'll park the bus and we'll concede late on. And I think we'll get back into it and lose on penalties. That's my gut. But I'll tell you what, I'd love nothing more. I'll tell you what, if we stayed up by the skin of our teeth, went out there and beat them and went on a good cup run, I'd love that. That'd be absolutely brilliant. Just to beat them up there would be class. It would be absolutely brilliant. But yeah, we'll cross that bridge when we come to it this time next month. But do you think we've genuinely got a chance up there, Mike? 9,000 of us up there making a racket.
It makes a difference, mate. The last time we took a big support up there, and basically outsung them and quietened the place for long periods, and then let's all do the Bartes happened. I mean, it's a possibility. They're in good form at the moment, but you got to look at the 2 games they got before and after.
Yeah, it's key.
If everyone realizes they got to play Barcelona and Liverpool either side of that game,
and there's the Carabao Cup final in there somewhere as well.
And the Carabao Cup final, they've got that as well. I mean, they might not put their strongest team out.
Yeah.
It can't be next to the Europa League game, can it? Because the FA Cup ties are midweek.
Yes, it's not a week of our the old Conference Cup. No,
it's wedged in between 2 Premier League games, isn't it? Midweek this next round.
It's a midweek.
Yeah. So it's the Barcelona game directly a week before, and then Premier League or Carabao Cup.
Yes, I think and then the Carabao Cup, the Liverpool. Barcelona's. Those are the 3 games. I don't know how they all land.
In and around, yeah. In and around. So there'll definitely be some sort of a rotation there.
If you look at the fixture now, is the Carabao Cup final on the 26th date-ish around that time?
At the
moment, it will say they're playing in the league, won't it?
Yeah, it will.
Get through
it
tomorrow.
will.
The Carabao Cup final, won't this article tell me? The Carabao Cup final is on the 26th of February, and the game is going to be played between the 27th of February and the 3rd of March.
If you look at the fixture list now, it'll have Man U playing a Premier League game on that week.
Yeah.
Be moved, so like you said.
That's a massive sort of fixture pile up there.
They'll have to go against Newcastle in the final, won't they? So
yeah, they'll have a tough game.
Yeah. Let's take some more of these comments. Moisaurus said he did everything to keep Ashby apart from acknowledging his talent and picking him for the team. We'll talk about Ashby a little bit later on, but I do want to talk about this Pedro Porro, Sean, who's got you smiling like a Cheshire cat far away.
Well, he's a player that Tottenham fans have wanted for about 8 months. They've sort of, since we know we're playing wing backs, I don't know whether Conte's staying or going, but it's a bit mad to buy an attacking wing back if he's going, because not many other managers play it. But he's a player that Tottenham have wanted, the fans have wanted for a while. Well, if you watch him in the Champions, even before we drew Sport in the Champions, we wanted him. Obviously, Man City signed him. He's one of about 30 players Man City signed and loaned out about kicking the ball. Yeah. I think Man City have got a 30%. They'll get 30% of the fee. The fans wanted him for a while. He ticked every box, and unusually the club got on board. And then they did target him, and he's been their number 1 target the whole window. It looks like he's going to be announced at 8:00. He's another one of these deals we like doing, where we pay a loan fee with an obligation to buy. They're strange ones because it's an initial $5 million upfront loan, but he's signing a 5.5-year contract. So I don't know how it all works, but anyway, we sort of pushing back, but the deal looks like it was done. It's going to fall through. If you haven't watched him play, he's a very, very attacking right wing back with a very, very good delivery. Like
that is your problem position at the moment. Everyone's moaning about your right wing back, aren't they?
A minute ago, when you were talking up how well your Emerson's playing at left wing back.
Yeah.
He's not too dissimilar to our Emerson at right wing back, I don't think. Where he's steady. You're not going to get anything special out of him.
Yeah.
Emerson has got a rick in him. Our Emerson, Royale. Yeah. He has got a rick in him, but he's done okay. Bearing in mind he bought as a right back, and he's had to play right wing back. Yeah. And he has. Funny enough, he obviously knows we're getting this one in. The last 2 games, he's actually played one of our best players against Man City when we chucked away 2-0 lead. He was probably our best player on the night.
Yeah.
So he's a defensive right wing back. Porro's very attacking. His defensive stats aren't anything special, but he's a bit like what you might. If Trent Alexander played right wing back, that ball we can put in, it's bend it around the defence. I think he's got 11 assists in the Portuguese league already this season. He is very talented. If it goes wrong, it'd be disappointing because, like I said, the fans have wanted him for a while, so they sort of earmarked him. The club have got on board. He's the right age. I think he's 23. Our right side, when fit, basically we're doing the bare minimum every window, so it's taken a long time to build a team. But the right side, when fit, I think they're 22, 23, 24 and 23. So they're a good age. It's strong. The left side needs work. But like I said, they're just doing the bare minimum every window. But yeah, fingers crossed he is a very successful, but you never know at Tottenham.
Do you think that'll be the only sign you bring in tonight?
Yeah, well, obviously we got that Dan Juma in as well, didn't we?
Yeah.
You were linked to in the summer, I think.
Yeah.
I didn't really have an opinion on Dan Juma, to be quite honest. I know Bournemouth are looking at having about you were linked to him, blah, blah, blah. And then he was going to Everton. But Everton, his medical was booked and they'd already done... No, the medical was passed, sorry. And they'd already done the introduction videos and all that rubbish. Mm. And I think he went and stayed in the hotel that night. And I think Tottenham realised they weren't going to do a deal for Zaniolo, Roma. I don't know if you've been following him a little bit.
Yeah.
They want 30 million for him. Anyone going for him want to pay a loan fee. I think that's a lot to do with he's done his cruciates in both knees in the last couple of years. So I don't think clubs want to. I think he's been okay for about 18 months. Clubs just don't want to outlay 30 million on that sort of risk. So I think we realised that Dan Juma was available instead and took him on a loan again. It does strengthen our bench because Brian Hill's now they've given up on him again. I don't think it's ever going to happen for him. He's just too little and lightweight. So he's gone back to Seville.
Yeah.
I've got a short story for you. We move on to the next bit. This sums up Tottenham's transfer stories in the last sort of couple of years. We sold Eric Lamela to Seville for 22 million plus Brian Hill. Now, 2 years later, they've got 22 million, Eric Lamela and Brian Hill. So that shows how some transfers just aren't thought through enough. Just a massive balls up that one, to be honest. But yeah, I think Lucas Moura is more or less done. I don't think he'd go today, but he's not going to play a lot more. I think he might be going back to Brazil in the summer. So, Dan Juma's quite biggish and strong, and he's not a small chap. And Conte likes aggression, physical players. So yeah, strengthens the bench at least, another option. And the right wing back is a weak area. Just strengthen. Tottenham fans agree. They want 2 centre backs if you have.
What we're going to do now, before we talk a little bit more about West Ham, I'm going to go around the big moves and I'm going to give you the bulletin and keep you up to date with all of the latest transfer news. Look at this. I'm going to make something happen now. Ready? You ready for this? Look at that. Look, here we go. So, news around the clubs. We're going to start off with Enzo Fernandez to Chelsea then. So what's currently holding up the deal? Chelsea and Benfica still can't agree a payment structure for Enzo Fernandez. A deal is expected to be worth 105 million quid. FFP has got to come in here somewhere. The price of the midfielder's release clause, that is, a source has told Sky Sports News that Chelsea want to pay it in 6 instalments. That sounds familiar, Mike.
Yeah.
Wants to pay in 6 instalments, while Benfica want it in 3 payments in 2 years. Chelsea's reply was that to pay it in 2 calendar years, they want to pay less of a fee up front. Benfica have not so far answered to this offer, which was received at 6:15 p.m. This is why Fernandes did not travel to England for a medical on Monday, and is also why he has also been doing the medical in Portugal. So we don't know that sort of on a bit of a knife edge there. That is Enzo Fernandez to Chelsea. Now, one that shocked us all when I got a couple of Arsenal mates at school and taking a mick out of them for this today is Jorginho to Arsenal. We believe that is close to being agreed. £12 million for the 31-year-old. He's expected to sign an 18-month contract with an option for an extended year. The Italian is into his final 6 months, 6 months of his contract at Chelsea and is trying to land and of course with Chelsea trying to land that Enzo Fernandez deal. So £12 million we're hearing that is close. I'm not sure whether it's ready for the announcement yet, but Jorginho to Arsenal looks very, very close indeed. Now, a done deal which we do know about, which shocked many people, was Cancelo, who's left Manchester City on loan. He's gone over to Bayern Munich over in Germany. It's official, it's completed. João Cancelo has joined Bayern Munich on a loan for the rest of the season, and the key thing is there's a buy option clause for 70 million euros, so that's about 65 million quid at the end of the season if they want to activate that. We'll talk about that in just a second. And finally, I want to talk about Manchester United. They couldn't have a little dabble around and have a look. They are looking to sign that Sabitzer, and I'm not quite sure the current status of that. I'm going to try and find out for you, but we're hearing they're close to signing Bayern Munich Sabitzer. He has left Munich Airport. He is over to Manchester, and he looks like he's going to finalise a deal to Old Trafford. Mike, I'm going to start with you. I want you to pick one of those stories, and we'll have a little chat about it.
Jorginho to Arsenal. I don't understand that really, because he's only going to be a bench warmer. I suppose it's just to strengthen the squad. He's not going to get in front of the other two, is he? I mean,
no.
Holding midfield's part. He's playing really well at the moment. And I don't know. You can't blame him, can you? Really, he's having a bit of a payday. I don't know. I think it's only an 18-month contract. You can't blame the club or him for taking that. But I don't think it. I can't understand it really. He won't get in the team. He'll be sat on the bench for him, even though he's still a useful player. But I think Partey, you got to give him his dues. Much I hate to say it, he is. He's been one of the reasons that Arsenal have improved so much this year.
Yeah. Sean, obviously, your North London friends. Well, sure. I tell you what, before I do ask you for that, we've got a bit of breaking news. Somebody's put it into the chat as well. Jacob Steinberg from The Guardian, make of this what you wish. West Ham's young left-back, Emmanuel Longello, who's on loan at Birmingham, could make the deal permanent tonight for £400,000. Before I get your reaction to Jorginho, Sean, Mike, another one bites the dust.
Yeah, and I've watched him play for Birmingham this year, Jake, and I hate to say it, he's a good lad, but he's a championship player. Okay. And they can't all make it. I mean, we've had some good under-21, some good under-18 teams in the last couple of years, and some good lads coming through. But the club have to make a decision. They can't keep them all on. They can't keep them all dangling for too long. It's a shame to see him go, because he's good going forward, but I don't know. From what I see of him, he'd probably make a good living out of being a decent championship player. But I don't really see him breaking into the Premiership team at the moment. Hey, we've all been proved wrong, haven't we? You know what I mean?
Fair enough. We will revisit that. We will revisit that if we get any more news as and when it happens. Sean, back to Jorginho. Of course, your North London friends. I had a little chuckle to myself when I heard of it, with their nice, youngest team in the league signing a 31-year-old out of contract.
The funniest thing is how little rivalry Chelsea and Arsenal have got for me. Bear in mind they've been competing for the biggest trophies for about 20 years, and they when they play each other, they sing Tottenham songs together. Do you know what I mean? As Tottenham fans, we almost call them the cuddle up derby or the holding hands derby, because they are just all of one. But to get a deal done between two clubs, you'd think there'd be bigger rivals, and it's just not classed as a big deal between those two sides. So that's a bit strange, I've always found. But I think Arsenal wanted Casado, didn't they, from Brighton? That's who they wanted. And I think they went up to about 60, 70 million. And Arteta said he wanted a bit more cover in that area. Obviously, if he wanted cover, he was just going to get anyone. I think that's possibly a little bit what he's done. With Chelsea, I haven't been able to keep up with who they've signed and what the numbers are. But I did, so just take this as a me copying, reading off someone else. But I did read, because I don't trust if Todd Bowley knows what he's doing. He's obviously buying the players to the manager, whoever it is that month. But I did read of all these players they're signing, because obviously I think they might all be they're all foreign, aren't they? I think they're any of them are English. I did actually read that 3 of his new signings they can't actually name in the Champions League squad.
Really?
So
what? Are they like cup tied? Is that how it works? Or
you've got a limit how many you can name. So
25 unless they're homegrown.
Yeah, it's the same as the Premier League limit. You've got to name so many homegrown players. There is a limit. You can't just take the mick. Like Tottenham let go of Doherty and Gill today, and that's freed up the other 2 that have come in. But they're in the past, like my own club, we've had to leave off a random. I can't remember what it was. We had to leave a centre back out. But for them to stockpile so much, I don't know if Jorginho go and frees one more space up. But to stockpile that much, obviously they've got João Felix. They want to name all these stars they're spending. I don't even know what they spent. If they sign this Enzo from Benfica, whoever it is, they'll probably go to 250 million in one window, something like that.
It's crazy. It's crazy the amount of money they've spent, and they've got to have some sort of backlash. I do want to cut in because Darmesh just put an update on in terms of Arsenal, saying that the Jorginho formal announcement is coming up very soon. Albert Sambi-Lokonga is going to Crystal Palace on loan. That deal is closed. Cedric Suarez on loan to Fulham has cautious optimism of getting done tonight. I mean, to be fair, for Arsenal, it's good news they get rid of them 2 players because they're some of the worst in their squad. We call him Bambi Lokonga at school, and Cedric. They're both not very good, so I think that's quite good for them. And Jorginho, you can make of that what you want, but yeah, there's still plenty going on tonight in terms of those transfers. But yeah, we're waiting to see whether we get any more updates in terms of a permanent move for Longelo, and we're still waiting to see whether West Ham do any business tonight. I'm going to say it's highly unlikely. David says that's fair enough, Mike, but where are the fullbacks? I think people are frustrated because again we're going to let go 2 youngsters,
2 young fullbacks. But to be honest, Jake, I would have sooner have kept Ashby other than Longelo. I would have sooner kept him. I could see a little bit more in Ashby, but he didn't want to stay. He was down the pecking list. He's 3 down the pecking list, so you can't blame him. What a move for him to go to Newcastle now with what's happening up there. I mean, you can't blame the lad, can you?
Yeah. Oh, definitely. So let's talk about that now. Let's bring you in, Sean, because I think you commented on my Twitter post about it the other day. Of course, we've let go Harrison Ashby today, who seems to be buzzing with his move up to Newcastle for £3 million. Now, some people looked at it and said £3 million, that's good business for a youngster that might turn out, to just not do anything, not go anywhere and just sit on the bench up at Newcastle. Many people have said this kid's got potential. And yet again, we're letting go another very good player. But we've said that all too often in the very near past. Sean, from your perspective, do you think we're letting go too many youth players too soon? Harrison Ashby, Longelo being 2?
What sort of contract did Ashby have left? Do you know?
I think he was out in the summer. I think.
Yeah, I think we discussed one show last year. I think you noticed in the last couple of years, similar. It was the striker who let go to Leeds as well, the one that kicked up a fuss about not playing as well.
Perkins.
It might be when he was going in the summer. I remember saying, I think agents nowadays are getting hold of these youngsters, and they've got the clubs over a barrel a little bit. I think one of the biggest ones was Chelsea lost. Was it Musiala, the one that played for Germany in the World Cup? He could have played for England. My mate's watched all the academy teams of all that age, and he said that was the best player he's seen at that age. And that's Chelsea. Do you know what I mean? They think they're one of the biggest sides. Agents go in there and they'll hold the clubs to ransom. They will act like the player. They'll act like his agent would act like Ashby's going to be a superstar. That's what the agent's job. If he's only got 3 or 4 months to go and you've got 3 million, and it's probably been clear as day for a while that he's not going to re-sign, they'll try and threaten the club. He wants game time where he's going. You've got the choice. But if the clubs like Chelsea are letting players go, there's always someone. Put it this way, when a contract runs right down low, whether you're 16 or 28, as soon as the contract runs down low, the power automatically then goes to the agent and the other clubs. And agents know that. So I, as a West Ham fan, I wouldn't feel too bothered at all. Even if he goes in there and makes it the chances are it was out of West Ham's hands. Was Ashby 18? Is he 18?
Something like that. And I think one more he said,
but
yesterday he said, we tried to keep the boy, and he said the boy wanted to go, so we just let him go. And I think that's right. And also coming off the back of that, one thing we haven't discussed so far is coming out from various reports. It's coming out, just now, breaking news. Sky Sports have reported it. A lot of Irish sources have reported it, including the Belfast Telegraph, the Irish Premier League Live. The West Ham United have made a late push and are on the brink of completing a signing of Sean Moore, an Irish teenager who is a fullback, who will go straight into the development squad. Irish fullback. Could we be bringing in somebody just to let go in 2 years' time, Mike? That seems to be one of the very few.
Yeah, I mean, we also,
so far today.
All the fans, they go off the handle back when we let these youth team players go.
Yeah.
I'll give you an example. Diagana.
Exactly that.
What has he done at West Brom?
Yeah.
Nothing. I mean, and I can give you a lot more examples as well. They've not really hacked it. I'll tell you.
Was there a guy called Jeremy?
Those coaches, yeah, exactly. There's lots of them. Those coaches are watching them in training day in, day out. They know exactly what sort of attitude they got, what sort of abilities they got. You know what I mean? And there could be bits and pieces. They think, I don't think this lad's quite going to not, he's just, there's something missing. He ain't quite going to make it. They could get it wrong. Like, God, look at in the past, the things that like Kevin De Bruyne and Salah and whatever, were at Chelsea and they let them go, those things happen. But, sometimes you've got to make that decision and you've got to go, right, that's it. But I think, like Sean said, it's probably out of West Ham's hands. The lad wanted to go. He's seen what's happening. He's seen the money at Newcastle. Seen what's happening there at Newcastle. He's had an offer from them. He's going to be an understudy to Trippier. That's all there is to it. He will get chances because Trippier does pick up injuries. So, yeah, you can't blame the lad.
But it will work for every club because it wouldn't surprise me. Like, I don't know who this Irish lad is, but would not surprise me if agents are talking to West Ham about certain 18, 19-year-olds running the contract out. Brighton at Championship. It's just how it works. And the rich clubs take the ones they think are slightly better. But I do honestly think agents have got these youngsters. They got a bit more control with the clubs. They've probably come up since about 10 years old. Once they get about 15, 16, I think that's when they can get an agent. Yeah. As soon as they got an agent nowadays, they'll be telling them to run the deal down, don't sign.
Yeah.
And that's how it goes on. Like I said, I wouldn't blame West Ham at all. If he's run his contract down about 4 months left, then him and his agent have known what they're doing for a while. So I wouldn't. It's going to happen. Give it 6 months. There'll be another club in the Premier League moaning about West Ham for taking one of their youngsters. That's just how the game goes.
Yeah. Let's take some of your comments. Luke says young players need to go down to come back up. Unfortunately, Brighton paid $4 million for Caicedo. Seems like he's going to stay despite the sort of transfer request he indirectly put out on social media a couple of days ago. Time to go to bed. The famous words of our ex-chairman: "We ain't signing anyone." Peter says people said Fulham would go straight back down. I mean they signed Cedric. I can't really understand that one too much. But if they needed a fullback, and that was one of the very few out there, then fair enough. But yeah, you can't criticise Fulham too much this season. They've been very, very good. Robert, hope you're well, mate. We are waiting for the window to close that we can sign players out of contract on a free. Mr. Terry Newsham, I hope you are well, sir. So a round of applause for Terry, who did the vlog yesterday. I was very, very impressed as I saw the pictures.
I've got to say, Terry, a big up to Terry because he did a brilliant job there, and he took it very seriously, Jake. Look out, he's after your job, I tell you. He is after my job. And after I heard when I got home from school yesterday that it'd taken him 15 attempts to film that intro, I was like, this guy means business. He means absolute business. And Terry, you did a 10 out of 10 job, mate. Absolutely amazing. And if you boys go up to United again, because I probably won't, then I'm expecting just the same. Just the same. The bar has been set very high, mate.
It has very, very high. But yeah, obviously Mike being a part of it as well. The vlog team up there did an excellent job yesterday, and Terry got the first go on camera, which was very, very good.
Yeah, he did really well to do that.
He took it very seriously. Alex says, if Ashby plays one of 15 games for Newcastle, I'll eat my hat. I've heard bad things about Ashby's attitude. Listen, we couldn't do anything more. We've offered him contracts. We've offered him extensions, all that. He's gone, no, I want to leave. I don't blame anyone particularly. You know, he's gone now. It's disappointing, but it is certainly what it is. Newcastle paying him 45 grand a week. Is that true? 45 grand a week. I can guarantee you that we probably weren't playing him that. But yeah,
Maybe
Corey says,
five.
yeah, £5 and a bag of Haribos. Corey says, Man United signs to bits after Ericsson got injured. See what they've acted really, really quickly. Andy Carroll slid in and took Ericsson out until April or May. They've gone, and I'm hearing that Sabitza's plane, according to some people on Twitter, is due to land in Manchester at 8 o'clock. So it seems like that one is definitely going to go down to the wire. Trini says maybe the young players we let go would develop better if they'd stayed. No one knows. Alex says apparently after Ashby made his debut, he demanded a pay rise of 20 grand a week. He's apparently very arrogant too. To be honest, I didn't see people sawing him. Fair enough. Jake looked old in the vlog, at least 52.
52.
52. Alex says, if you think he's getting in over Trippier, you're mistaken. Ashby will be sold in 2 years. There's no chance he will be a first-team regular. Yeah, I'm inclined to agree with that.
About 33. He's not. He's spring chicken now. Is he?
Yeah, I suppose. Yeah.
I'm not saying they'll see Ashby as his replacement because they'll probably get 60 million on a right back soon. But
yeah. So maybe they're sort of planning for the future. I'd be surprised if he's the option. I know we are fans, but as a player, 45 grand a week on a 4-year contract is 10 million. What would you do exactly? Exactly. So yeah, there was no gourmet burger outside. There was a hot dog. Mike, what did you indulge yourself in?
Oh, I didn't have a burger, mate. Oh, I left that out till later on. I had a BLT.
Very nice indeed. We've all been fooled by the word gourmet, especially up at Old Trafford. So you know, if we do go back up there, Terry, just got to make sure that geezer's got some curry sauce. There we go. Right, we've come to the bottom of the comment section. Anything else? I mean, let's pick another one of these. What about Cancelo to Bayern? That's baffling.
Oh, he's fell out with Guardiola, hasn't he? That's what's happened. And that's a top player to lose, that is. Yeah. That really is. I know he's let Zinchenko go, he's let Jesus go. But if those three, Cancelo as well, that's three good players. Don't get me wrong, the squad depth up there is hideously ridiculous of what they've got. But yeah, I mean, it'd take a bit of replacing that Cancelo. I'm rating him highly. Very, very good player, Sean.
Yeah, I think he'd been left out for whatever reasons, and didn't he found out he was left out in the FA Cup game on Friday night, and he had a bit of a kick-off. So Pep said, "You can go." I don't think a few like fans from our leagues moaned, "Oh, we should have got him," but I don't think City would have loaned him to any Premier League side.
No.
Yeah.
They might even let Bernardo Silva go today as well. I don't know if any truth in that. That I did a few times. It's just Pep putting his foot down. I think a lot of people have praised it. It's good to see, but when you're at the top of the league, it is risky as well, isn't it? Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like he's left out Cancelo for that. There's I can't remember his name. It's only a 19-year-old lad, and I can't remember what his name is now.
Rico Lewis.
That's the one. Yeah. So he's sort of gone for him ahead of Cancelo. So I don't know. Obviously, something's gone on behind the scenes. City haven't looked quite all season anyway. Over to take away Haaland's goals, that they haven't looked the same to me. But I think I made a claim on the last show, didn't I, Jake, that Haaland could score 40 league goals and they win nothing. Does that make it the worst Man City team in 10 years? Do you know what I mean? It's a weird question that might have to be asked, and letting go when a stars. I think Cancelo was up for. Wasn't he nominated Player of the Year last year?
Player of the Year? Yeah,
he was.
Yeah. It's risky, but Pep's got all that money for this reason, making these big decisions. So
yeah. Anyway, still to come in the hour. We've got 15 minutes left inside the hour. We're going to be talking about the rest of the transfer news currently breaking as and when we get it. We'll talk a bit more about the big deals, West Ham and everything else. Get involved in the live chat. 67 of you watching. We are only on 29 likes. Hit that like button and subscribe to SDown Official if you haven't already. Check out our channel sponsors, SRM Carver, and some by clicking the link in the description down below. You know what to do. We're now going to go around the grounds metaphorically and talk a little bit more about some more of the deals out there. So we're going to start off at the City ground then. Keylor Navas to Nottingham Forest on loan is a done deal according to L'Equipe over in France. I think that's a good sign. We'll talk about that in a second. West Brom have now reached an agreement with Chelsea to sign Omari Hutchinson on loan according to Fabrizio Romano. PSG and Chelsea are on the verge of unlocking the Hakim Ziyech deal. Details being discussed in order to get it signed according to Fabrizio. Ziyech was one name that came up with us, so we'll talk about that in just a second. Diego Llorente leaves Leeds United and joins AS Roma on loan until the end of the season, according to Football Daily. Of course, we know that Sabitzer is on his way to Manchester United. PSG were both confident on signing Ziyech and Skriniar before the deadline, so we'll keep an eye on that one. Aston Villa are working on a deal to sign Houssem Aouar on loan. That's 4 hours ago, so I'm not sure whether there's been any sort of developments in that sense, but they look like they're going to try and sign Houssem Aouar in the last few hours. Southampton have agreed a deal, as somebody mentioned earlier on, worth 21 million euros to sign Paul Onuachu from Genk. I think that's a good signing for sure. Hector Bellerin has landed in Lisbon with his agent for medical tests as new Sporting Lisbon player. Barcelona have already approved this deal. And that's just about it for the moment. Out of everything I've discussed there, pick out a couple of key stories. Sean, I'll start with you.
Sabitzer, he's a player that I don't know how he's got on at Bayern, but he was at Leipzig, wasn't he, before? I'm sure he was at Leipzig.
Yeah.
Did rate him there. My club has obviously linked them a little bit. He's in there. Remember, he's in the Ericsson mould, how I would have described Ericsson 5-6 years ago, like number 10 creative sort of player. I know he's now Ericsson a bit more of a standard centre midfielder. So easy to see what they do with him. I think Southampton have gone for it a bit, and then if they bought 3 or 4,
yeah, I think so.
Spent a little bit, haven't they? So they've gone for it. I think I said to you earlier, the only out of all the teams down though, they've either spent a bit of money or got players in, or they've got a bit of a new manager bounce. Well, West Ham haven't got either of that. They've sort of stuck with what they've got and stuck with the manager. So it'd be interesting to see who comes out best. The ones that have gone for it could turn out to be panicked, I don't know, or just stayed true and stuck with their guns and what they've got. But it's going to, I think, I'll be honest, between now and the end of the season, it's probably the most interesting of relegation battles been in years. Because usually you've casted one off at least by now.
Yeah.
And you can pick a couple that might be down. I think most of us probably chop and change their mind. A mate of mine said the other day he thinks the 3 that are in there will be the 3 to go. I'm not so sure. I still think Dyche is a good appointment. I think he's going to galvanise Everton a little bit. It's going to be interesting down there. But transfer-wise, yeah. But on West Ham, I would have if I was you guys, I would have preferred to see another horrible, gritty centre midfielder coming in. That's what I'd like to see. Just one that can mix it up. Just do dirty work. Just in those games you need someone, maybe even push Rice forward. That's what I would have liked to see. And I think just strengthen up in that area a little bit. Maybe if, like, I don't know if Jorginho is that nasty, but someone along of that ilk on a short deal, something like that. But not going to happen.
Mike, over the players I just ran through there in that couple of minutes of updates, any players that stood out to you particularly with deals looking like they're going to get over the line?
Yeah, I think you might have missed one, Jake. What about the guy at Leeds?
Let's have a little look. Come on, Sean. You're like Leeds fan 2.0, aren't you? Let's have a look. What is it?
It's American guy.
McKennie.
Yeah.
McKennie, that's it. That's his name. McKennie. Yeah, go far away, Mike.
Yeah, no, I watched him in the World Cup, and a tidy player, and probably something that Leeds need, because I mean, like Sean just said about relegation. I mean, a team that has 3 or 4 bad results now, you know what I mean, could be struggling. No one's set. I mean, no one is, down there with like a really poor amount of points at the moment. It could be the least amount of points you ever need to stay up, to be honest. It could be 33 or something. It might be plenty, because it's so close. But yeah, a lot of teams that are down there are thinking, we'll see. I think a lot of it at the moment is panic buy. And I'd sooner not see us panic buy, to be totally honest. Yeah, I'm not sure saying about a midfielder who's going to get his foot in him. Yeah, you all need one of them. I think we've got a couple of them because, believe it or not, Paqueta, he can put his foot in. He is. I haven't seen him lose many tackles. For a Brazilian centre midfielder, he's not your typical. And Rice is strong in there. And Downs last night won the ball back about 4 times. It didn't go unnoticed by me. But he got his foot in and does the dirty work. So I think we're okay with that, believe it or not. But there is other positions for me. A wide man. We're talking earlier. Another wide man.
Yeah. Just
to back it up. But Cornet could be that one if he comes back and gets himself fit. That's a big but, I know. There could be a team down the bottom there at the moment who thinks they're safe or just above it, and all we need is a bad run. Fulham have had a great start to the season. They've lost their last 3 games, and all of a sudden, winning's a habit and losing becomes a habit, and then all of a sudden that 10-point gap that could drag them into that pile. I don't think it'll happen personally, but you never know. It'd be interesting. It'd be very interesting.
Just to pick up on what you were saying, Sean, a little bit earlier on about Sabitzer. Now, Sky Sports are reporting that Isco, Saul Niguez, Hasim Aouar and Yannick Carrasco have all been offered to Manchester United today, but the club have decided to reject all of those and still pursuing a deal with Sabitzer. It's a little bit risky.
Yeah,
maybe.
I don't think United have done too much. Obviously, got Wakehorst on loan. They haven't exactly splashed out in this window.
No.
So I don't know. I don't know whether they're saving their money a bit for the summer, or I'm not sure. But with the relegation, it's worth, with all these, like I said, 2 or 3 of the teams have got a few players in. A couple of got the new man, like Dyche. Might be wrong, but I got a feeling their first game might be Arsenal, Everton's. So do you know what I mean?
Arsenal and Liverpool, their first 2 games.
Yeah, Arsenal and Liverpool. Yeah.
When I look at that, I'm thinking Dyche is going to galvanise them. I don't think he's going to galvanise them in time. At least for the Arsenal game. Liverpool, you might get a draw out of that. So that's when you look at the fixture list. You look at, I don't know, West Ham have got the next 1 or 2. But I'd be looking.
We got Newcastle, Chelsea, and then you lot, I think.
So you'd expect the settled teams to have a better chance of the teams rebuilding. Like Leeds, they've got Forest away this weekend, and following that, they've got a double header in the space of a week, home and away to United. So it's going to be topsy-turvy to the end, but it just feels like the next couple of games, if someone can get a few results together, they won't necessarily pull away, but it's almost like some of the teams might not be settled or ready to do it just yet. Dyche's not going to be ready yet. The amount of players Southampton have got in, I think Forest have bought another half a dozen this window as well, aren't they?
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? West Ham, they're quite settled, so you've got to look at the next game, as they always say.
Yeah. Yeah, just got to hope from those 3 games we can pick up something. Just some more news coming out now. Cedric Suarez to Fulham is a done deal, according to reports. That is done. He's switching North London to South London, down on the Thames down to Craven Cottage for Fulham there. So yeah, there's still deals going off, and according to some people that have had a little look at Birmingham City pages and forums, they're not very happy they're signing Longjello on a permanent basis from what I've seen. So yeah, we'll get more on that to come very, very
shortly. That tells
shortly.
you something, Jake, doesn't it? That tells you something.
Yeah.
They're watching him every week. I've watched him about 3 games. I tune in watching a lot of our, on loan players, the guys that were Sunderland, Longjello, 3 or 4 of them I've been watching, and none of them have been outstanding.
Yeah. Oh yeah, and I just think it might be that fact, and he might, Moyes just gone, yeah, we'll just take it. He's out on loan, just take the money, and move on. One player we haven't discussed in too much detail is Keylor Navas. He's not played a minute of football over for PSG so far this season. The deal was on, then the deal was off. Now the deal's back on again, and it seems like that deal was very close to going through. On loan, 36 years old, not played a minute of football all season. They clearly wanted a goalkeeper. Do you think it's the right option, Mike?
Oh, I don't know, mate. I really don't know. That's a difficult one, mate, isn't it? That is. Okay, he's a goalkeeper. You know, they can go on a bit longer, but yeah, I don't know, mate. Forest, they brought in Shelby as well, and
Is that
who was the
official?
other? I don't know. They were talking about today. They were talking about Shelby and someone else. I can't remember who the other one was.
Sean Navas.
Well,
Hang on, 2
there's
seconds.
another one.
In terms of Jonjo Shelvey, expecting Jonjo Shelvey's permanent move to Forest to be confirmed later tonight. Carl Darlow will also join Hull on loan. He's arrived at the Nottingham Forest training ground. That was well earlier on today. They're set to announce the signing today. Medical was completed this morning. So Forest are expecting Keylor Navas, Jonjo Shelvey and Felipe all to be announced in the next few hours or so. So that's one to keep an eye on. Sean, Forest as a whole, Shelvey, Navas on deadline day.
But they play Henderson in goal, don't they, Forest?
That's what I thought, but
He's still on loan from United. Did he loan him?
I'm gonna have a little look. Carry on.
It just seems like a keeper that's. But it was like the next big thing. He was going to replace De Gea not long ago.
Yeah.
He was on loan at Bournemouth. Was he at Bournemouth? He was quality.
Yeah.
I think it was. It was one of the lower teams. Yeah.
And then he's really good there. Then went on loan to a Forest, and I don't know. Maybe he's done fancy him there. I don't know. Maybe they felt like they need a bit of experience back there. But if he can't get, if they can start pushing him out at Forest, his career's only going to go one way. But
yeah. I'm not looking into too much detail, but many people are saying he'll just become the number 2. But Steve Cooper has been talking on the possibility of signing a new goalkeeper after Dean Henderson's injury. I'm not going to play the video, obviously, but I don't know how big that injury is. So that might have factored in. They needed to get one in because they've got an injury and they don't trust whoever they've got there. But it seems like an injury which has sort of really fueled that deal to go through. And they've got it done on deadline day by the looks of it. And Jonjo Shelvey, another old player coming in. I'm a little bit, shocked at that. So that's going to be interesting to see how he does. So, that is definitely interesting for sure. Many people are talking about Conor Gallagher in the chat, so I want to talk about him very quickly. Let's have a look at it. Kai says, have you talked about Conor Gallagher, Jake? If not, what's your thoughts? Mike, good 3 months at Palace. Not really done too much at Chelsea. I'm undecided.
For me, I don't know whether he's the player we really would need. Don't get me wrong. He had a brilliant game against us last year for Palace. I thought he was excellent against us. Yeah. He ripped us apart. Honestly, he scored 2 goals and he was the best player on the pitch that day. We drew 2-2 with him, and to be totally honest, I thought, he was the best player on the pitch. But I think we have players like him already.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? I think because he's not he's an attacking midfielder. Do you know, he's a Fornells or he's a Ben Ram or whatever, but he is not a player that's gonna. I don't think he's the sort of guy you bring in for a battle when you're struggling a little bit down the bottom.
Yeah.
Don't get me wrong, he's a good footballer, but I don't know. I don't think he would fit our mode. I could be wrong. It's just my thoughts. I like him. He's a good player, but I don't know if he would fit the mode.
Yeah. For me, I'm a little bit like, will it work? Will it not? Sean, you look eager.
He was one of the key ones that I told you West Ham should go for in the summer. Remember, after that game he had at Palace, I didn't think for a second he was going to cut it at Chelsea. Whoever owns Chelsea, whoever the manager at Chelsea, players just get swamped there. Like, look at Ziyech. He's off. I think he's class. Ziyech. He's off the. He's only going to PSG because the only ones that pay his wages are about $200,000 a week. But they always sign too many players. They've got too many players in the book, and you can guarantee half a dozen just get lost, and that's what's happened. I think I heard they want 45 million for him now. The thing is, whenever I've seen him play for Chelsea this year, he's all like quick feet, intricate feet, runs inside, gets tackled. That's all I've seen. That's all I've seen him do for Chelsea this year. So his stock's dropped. Anyone paying close to 45 million are taking a massive, massive gamble. He had a good season or half season at Palace, and other than that, he hasn't really got a lot on his CV as far as I'm concerned. And then the players that leave Chelsea, it's potluck whether they're going to be good enough, not good enough. I wouldn't be in. I definitely wouldn't be in the market anywhere over 30 million for him. Put it that way. I know. I agree with Mike. I don't.
Cap for me as well. 35 million. I think.
He Mike compared him to a few of your midfielders. I think he's got the feet of Ben Rama, but of less pace. So
yeah.
I've seen him cut. I've seen him cut inside many times, and then they just close him down quick.
Yeah, he ends up losing the ball. I've seen it so many times as well. Yeah,
because it was Everton link, wasn't it? They were in for him and got.
Yeah,
I think Perry might even turn. I think Everton maybe had the money available, but the player turned them down.
Yeah,
he's not one of them players. Because I would have had him on the brink. I think he has had England caps. He has played for England, hasn't he, in that little period where he's good at passing at Chelsea. He's never English player, sort of on the brink a little bit to see which direction they go. I think he'd be mad to stay at Chelsea very long because Chelsea's going to keep the spending. I can't even name you half the players they got now. No. But yeah, million, not a player West Ham need, not now. Maybe in the summer.
Yeah. I think Hammer Time agrees with you here, and I sort of agree as well. Rather prioritise more important areas. We need to come back to this area in the summer when Rice goes, and maybe we revisit that then. So something that's sort of been undershadowed a little bit. There is actually a Carabao Cup semi-final going on tonight. It's just kicked off, and that is Newcastle, who are hosting Southampton. Was it 1-0 on aggregate? I think.
Yep.
So Southampton need to do some work to turn it around. And I'll tell you what, Harrison Ashby and Anthony Gordon, if that doesn't get you off your seats, I'm not sure what will. Some more of your comments keep them coming into the chat. We're going to do a little bit of a roundup of all the deals that are currently hanging in the balance. Karen Emerson were panic buys, in my opinion, easy, but they weren't wanted for a reason at their clubs. Wouldn't mind signing Marcus Edwards from Sporting. Says long with the bowling. You like that, Sean?
Yeah, Tottenham will get some money there.
They would.
Oh, right. Is it a buy on? Is it a sell on thing?
Yeah. Going back to what you're saying about youngsters of attitudes, he was a superstar coming through the Tottenham Academy. I think Pochettino nicknamed him Mini Messi because he has got some special feet. But he ran his deal down, didn't play. Stories of attitude. I've just read about this Ashby, arrogant. I've heard it all before, whether they're true or not, or whether it's just whispers. But he went actually off to a team in Holland, I think. Then he went to the Portuguese league, to Victorias, I think they're called something like that. Absolutely outstanding for a team near the bottom. So Sporting picked him up. But all that time they've moved between the clubs, Tottenham have held a 50% sell-on clause. And funny, it's been brought up now because part of the deal to get Pedro Porro, we've sold back 15% of that deal.
Right.
Now instead of Sporting owning 50%, they now own 65%. So that was sort of done as a bit of a sweetener. But he's small. He's not very big. Very, very good feet. He tore Tottenham to pieces in the Champions League in a couple of runs. He literally run through us like Messi does in the Champions League this year. He's very talented. I don't know where I'd place him in the Premier League, if I'm honest. I can't picture it.
Yeah. No.
Jake, I've got to go in a minute, mate. Sorry, buddy.
All right. Yeah. No worries. Mike, just some final thoughts on West Ham's win. Doing anything else before I let you go then?
Yeah, no, I think, I thought Ings was a good signing. It was just a shame he got injured. So I thought a striker, I thought a left wing back and another wide man would have been great. But realistically, I couldn't see it happening. So, I'm not that upset about it, Jake. I think they're beginning to get a bit of confidence back for the last couple of games. Since the new year, we've only lost one game. We beat Brentford in the cup, went a brilliant performance, but you can see things beginning to get a little bit better. So, yeah, I think he's beginning to galvanise it a bit. So, some of the players that the injuries weren't good. Obviously, Zuma, we didn't need to lose him, and Ings only playing flipping at 15 seconds before he gets injured again, and is disappointing. But I don't think they're long-term injuries, and we will see them back. And also the Cornet things around the corner as well. I think he's not far away, so it's not that bad. They'll be like new signings. They'll be like new signings if we get them back in about 3 weeks' time, and they may all come back at around about the same time.
We've just got to hope. Just got to hope with what we've got is good enough. Mike, thank you very much.
Yeah, thank you, guys. See you later.
Cheers, Mike.
Cheers, Jay.
Cheers, Mike. Sean, we won't go on for too much longer. We'll just give a little bit of a roundup of what's currently going on. So I think we'll start with the Sabitzer deal. Man United in process of sorting the work permit and finalising paperwork as they attempt to complete the transfer of Sabitzer. Deal expected to be straight loan with an option to buy there. And as well, you've got the Enzo Fernandez deal, which some people are saying is on, some people are saying off. That's very much in the balance. Is it going to happen? Who knows? Sean, do you think it's going to happen?
I don't care, Jake, really. It's one of them really boring ones, isn't it? Like Chelsea's spending saga, still a little bit. I got bored of that Mudryk one when Arsenal are after him and Arsenal are after him, Chelsea are after him. It just gets tedious, doesn't it? And but it's done. Probably.
Yeah.
I don't know if he needs to be in the country, whether he's had did you say he's had a medical over there, or?
I think he's had a medical over there, and they're sorting the paperwork. I think he's having the medical in Lisbon somewhere.
If I was going to have a bet, I'd say, Chelsea just cave in, because I think they're just being a bit careless for money, to be honest. So, I'd say it get done late.
Fair enough. So just a little bit more on that Manny Longello deal. So John Collins from Football London has backed up what Jacob Steinberg says, and he says that Manny Longello could join Birmingham City permanently for $400,000 tonight. There is less than 3 hours to go, and the crucial thing here is he's currently playing in an FA Cup replay for Birmingham. So I'm not quite sure how that works there. Whether they can just do the deal half time, mate. Come here, you just on a permanent, yeah. All right, cool. I'm not sure what's going to happen there, but that might be a rush last minute, get the paperwork in, and then sort of announce it tomorrow, or very much late into the night. But there we go. It's done, official and confirmed. Jorginho has signed and is a new Arsenal midfielder. Welcome to North London. £10 million plus £2 million add-ons. Can't believe he's an Arsenal player. I can't believe they've actually done it. It's all over. There we go. Welcome to the Arsenal, Jorginho, Sean.
All down there for him now. I'm sure, like I said, both clubs, their fans will hold hands and celebrate the deal together. Final thing I got to say, really, is what's West Ham's history like for having like a very, very late deal, completely out of nowhere, very random, like a last-minute shock?
Yeah.
Ever been any of them, but very, very, very late ones?
There has been. Sullivan's dropped in a little bit of a surprise every now and then. A good few years ago we signed Jordan Hugo on deadline day, and that was an eventful day. That was, and so a few years ago, somebody will correct me. Did we sign Saka or Valencia or somebody like that late on in a transfer window deadline day? We've got a history of doing that, but I can't see it happening tonight unless this Irish lad signs. I think that'll be it.
Yeah, I think we'll turn the young children when it comes to transfer deadline day, just praying until about 2 minutes to 11, then you will finally give up on it, and then you might flick on the Twitter just in case one's late deal gone in. It's always fun. I think we've all had a couple of late ones, but I think this one to be quiet for both our clubs, to be honest. As if Porro gets announced, hopefully it does. I thought it was 8 o'clock, but nothing yet. So.
Is it 8 o'clock? Is it? I'll just have a look. I haven't seen it anywhere. So I don't think it's been officially announced yet. Let's have a little look. Spurs, no, it hasn't. Latest was Jed Spence, of course, leaving for Rennes. One thing that we have got to talk about is the Toon have just scored. Awful start for Southampton, up on Tyneside. It's 2-0 on aggregate now. Newcastle, they're firing themselves into the final and on to Wembley. Breaking news: Messi has been spotted picking up his steak, bacon, bottle of Coke in Westfield, getting ready for his late deadline day deal over to West Ham. Luke says, shame Newcastle going through. Saints losing in the final would have been better for me. Now, one of the last things I do want to discuss is Bournemouth. They've done a hell of a lot of business in the last few days today and in this whole transfer window. Do you think that's this new guy come in and try to sign as many as possible to try and keep them up?
Well, it's never American owner, isn't it? I think American can sort that. I did read, because they bid that mad money for Zaniolo, but I did read before we come on that they bid again, but the new owner actually pulled the deal out because they spent so much.
I'll have a look at that.
I think they've bought quite well, but I just don't think there's a full trust in Gary O'Neill as the manager just yet. So it's they're almost like a B-Tech version of what Chelsea are doing. They're spending money, but you don't fully trust the managers on board with it all.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I wouldn't. I think Bournemouth have just done a little slide down the league a bit, haven't they? They're second or third from bottom now. I think we said a couple of weeks ago we probably almost think they're going to go down, but I wouldn't condemn them yet. It wouldn't shock me if they start picking up a few results here and there. I just, like I said, a few Leeds have done bits, Bournemouth have done bits, Forest have done bits. You and Everton haven't done a lot apart from them changing the manager. We're going to talk about this relegation battle right to the wire, aren't we? Every single week. I can't call it yet. So, but fair play to these teams having a go. They hit the panic button with whether spending 70, 80 million or whether it's changed the manager. And we'll see. I think Wolves, we've all said, like, I think Wolves are safe, but they are still down there currently. Do you know what I mean? They bought well, and the manager, I think, good, but don't know. We go around in circles a bit at the moment.
Yeah. In terms of that Zaniolo deal, yeah, you're right there. So Zaniolo in the last minute accepted the deal and was ready to sign this morning. How the English club blocked the transfer because too much money had been spent on other operations, according to Di Maurizio. So really, he was ready to go, but Bournemouth just went, now we've realised we've spent too much money.
Yeah, that's worrying things straight away, isn't it? So,
yeah.
So I think they had a bid accepted about 5 or 6 days ago. I don't know if they bought anyone else in between that then and now or not, and now realise they haven't got the budget. I don't know. But if they go down, obviously I don't know what the American owners there do. Like I said, a bit of a B-Tech Chelsea. So
yeah,
we'll see, mate. We'll see.
We'll definitely see. I think we will leave it there. Thank you very much, everybody, for watching. Drop a like on the video. Subscribe to West Ham Unofficial if you're new. There is what we on just under 3 hours, 2 hours. Is that 2 hours and 50 left? I think of the window. Was my math wrong there? What we on? 8, 9, 10, 11. Yeah, 2 hours 50 left of this transfer window. Plenty of time for deals to be done or deals not to be done. It's going to be an interesting last few hours. There's going to be a few shocks in there. I can feel it. Sean, final thoughts?
Oh, I hope there's something exciting. I've got to put up a Love Island in a minute, so hopefully the transfer to distract me from that.
Is that a daily occurrence in Sean Lewis's life?
Gets you through the winter nights, doesn't it? No, yeah, it'd be a bit of fun if it's any club. It's like a late sort of shock one, like left wing one. I'd like to see something really random last minute.
Yeah,
Something's
going to happen for sure. It always does. So yeah, thank you very much. Obviously, deals in the pipeline for the big clubs. Enzo Fernandez to Chelsea, Jorginho to Arsenal is done. So bits of the Man United. There's a few others lurking around. Thanks everybody for watching in the chat. Smash the likes. Let's get the likes up. Let's get up to 50 likes before we leave. But yeah, I think we will. I think we'll leave it there. Thank you everybody from me. Come on, you irons. Whatever you lot do down the lane, and we'll catch you soon right here on West Ham Official. Thank you very much, and we'll see you soon. Bye bye.